Hey, Pluto. Mind reviewing a manga for me?
Sure! What'd you have in mind?
Vampire Doll.
I'm not familiar with that one. I'm gonna have to read it.
I'm not busy.
Okay.
2 hours
Alright, so I've read
later.
the manga. I can definitely do a review of this.
Great. Did you like it?
Well, drop the knife, Crystal!
How dare you!
You got this?
Yeah, I think I got this.
Okay, so... might as well review it.
Give me a break, a little escape. I am so tired of being me. I wanna be free, I wanna be new and different. Anything I'm not.
So, vampires. This is like the third time I've talked about vampires on this show, and each time they have completely different rules, and why wouldn't they? The Western vampire bears little resemblance to their Eastern counterparts. It's imported story tropes, and they do what they will with what parts they want. In this one, vampires are basically just wizards who don't like sun and sometimes remember to drink blood. Hey, remember how in Castlevania you went from playing the muscle-bound, Schwarzenegger-inspired dude to the lithe, long-haired, emo son of Dracula? In Vampire Doll, the unstoppable Dark Lord of Vampires goes from a skinny, leather-clad Shojo-style dreamboat, so metrosexual he humps subway cars, to a tornado-haired gothic Lolita fetish doll. So basically the same shift, we just moved the scales over. And I meant fetish doll literally. V-neck nutjob here decided the best thing to do with the cross containing the soul of a vampire his ancestor worked tirelessly to trap was to place it in the body of a fetish maid doll and have it do housework. Well, of course. What would you do with an evil demon soul if you had one?
Okay, so I just got done fighting a very powerful demon, and I kind of trapped it into a stuffed animal. You want to put it in the microwave? I love science.
So let's talk about this vampire soul thing. Dollface got decisively Van Helsinged by an ancestor of V-Nut, and V-Nut looks exactly like his ancestor because A, lazy artwork, B, lazy attempt at drama. And V-Nut did all this because he wanted a maid in the house. Who I feel I'm legally obligated to inform you designed this doll to be an exact copy of his little sister. I just had it installed. Thankfully, he doesn't seem to have actual incestuous undertones with his real sister, who is just crapping unicorns out of her precious sparkly cinnamon bun anus. But he does constantly sexually harass Dollface by making suggestive comments and forcing him/her to dress in various fetish outfits. You want plot? Fuck you! We have more characters to establish! There's Dollface's former familiar, a bat who also got trapped in a crucifix but was released by V-Nut's evil twin brother, who is lamer than him in every way. Then there's Wet Behind the Ears, greatest doll maker in the world, and his pet boy who has the power to summon poorly drawn knives from his body. And there's evil energy-sucking demon and the Grim Reaper who broke the rules of the cosmos to apologize to that demon? I think. I honestly can't remember most of what happened in this manga, and I just read it! And part of that is definitely intentional. This isn't a long, overarching story manga or even an arc format manga. It's just a comedy, a week-to-week fun fest of jokes that loves making its characters bounce off of each other. And I've come to realize over the years that, for better or for worse, those types of mangas aren't made for a sit-down binging sessions like I do. That doesn't totally excuse my ambivalence towards this manga. It's definitely guilty of repeating jokes and the characters aren't inspired. V-Nut is a pretty reliable source of inciting nonsense, and Dollface is a great straight man who really does not have the patience for hijinks. And a big part of the implied humor arises from the difficulties of essentially Dracula trapped in Rosie the Robot. He hates his new lot in life, begrudges the control V-Nut has over him, and is especially touchy about his almighty magic powers having been replaced with the ability to make dessert. So his new magic powers are significantly less functional than a Star Trek replicator? And the side characters are really hit or miss. The Bat Familiar is actually a lot of fun. He's the right amount of doofy to be lovable without being smart enough to end the shenanigans. Cinnamon Bun's sister is pretty insufferable, but her bubble-headed obliviousness leads to some fun reactions from other cast members. But other than that, no winners. Wet behind the ears is the world's greatest doll maker, which is apparently not a mark of shame in this world. He's also really dull, and his knife-spawning doll that he totes around is in love with him because this is probably the gayest thing I've ever read that never actually uses the term gay, except for those two one-shot characters. The art style of this manga is kind of at odds with what it's trying to do. The art screams high art drama, but what's actually happening is pure vaudeville. The composition and art style are all very Shojo, lots of long-limbed shonens, fluffy clothes. I mean, just look at Dollface's hair. I swear she has to check that for sharks every morning. And the composition is heavily pose-dependent, with lacking backgrounds and stiff face work, standard hallmarks of the genre. But the thing is, those standards don't work as well in a zany comedy. The blocking focuses too much on overly detailed clothes, and the chibi work is just lame. It's not the first time I've seen this style of shoujo comedy. It's basically the same playbook used in Ludwig Kakame, which is much better than Vampire Doll. But they have about the same amount of homoerotic undertones. Yeah, just about every character in this manga is a guy of questionably open sexuality. Gay is a strong word for most of them, but lots of bromance going on here. And two of the side characters pass as female high school students for, no reason. The only female character of note is an edge of special school spectrum innocent snowflake of a girl, who everyone circles around to protect. I'd call her a Mary Sue if she was in the story more, or did things every so often. As it is, she's mostly a purity joke whose blood can return Dollface to his original form for reasons. Oh, and the other thing that can change him is this perfume that will cause the transformation to happen randomly for a set period of time, because V-Nut is a troll. The main thing that stuck out to me as I was reading this is how eye-bleedingly painful the art is. It's crammed full of the worst kinds of details, with buckles and hair and tight leather, basically the worst habits of modern Final Fantasy character design. Granted, this probably wasn't helped by the scans being double-page style, but it's generally not great artwork. This character is supposed to have the power to summon knives from their body, but it looks a lot more like he's being assaulted by the triangle people of hypotenusia. The manga has weird pacing, too. In the last volume, a weapon used by Dollface breaks and reveals an all-new character who is also a Bat Familiar. And then he has, one chapter, and then he never does anything ever again.
Please, no stop, wait, you're indispensable.
I didn't really like this manga, but it's not bad. The comedy is spotty, but it works sometimes and isn't super annoying when it falls flat. The art is overly crammed with detail, but it's got its own style. The plot goes nowhere, but it never pretended to do otherwise, so you don't feel cheated out of any potential build. Any drama that gets introduced gets resolved in a chapter or two. Look, it's fine for what it is. It's not my thing, but it works for what it's trying to do. I'd recommend Ludwig Kakame over this, but it's fine. It's fine. Vampire Doll is written by Erika Kari, who doesn't really have anything else on their resume. Till next time,
Hey, I was busy. How's the review going?
just finished. Thought it was great. You should check out the video later.
I will.
You're my doll, rock and roll, feel the glamour in pink. Kiss me here, touch me there, hanky panky.
You can touch, you can play. If you say I'm always yours, I'm a Barbie girl.
Alright.
Why do I appear for my life?
Because V-Nut is a troll.
Leroy!
Jing!